Well, the latest VA horror story. A 68-year-old Vietnam veteran died last year after a nurse's aide failed to monitor him because she was, quote, and she admitted, too busy playing video games.
Here to weigh in, Policy Director for Concerned Veterans for America, Dan Caldwell.
Dan, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Wish we were talking about something better, but I'm glad to have be on this morning.
Of course. Obviously, a terrible story here. 16-year-old Vietnam vet at a Massachusetts VA medical center was supposed to be checked on hourly because he could suddenly go into cardiac arrest, except this nurse admitted she didn't check on him because she was playing video games. What else happened, and what is happening to this VA worker?
Well, you know, Pete, I know you and everybody else at Fox have been covering these stories for years. Unfortunately, they're just not shocking to me anymore. But here's the good news, is that under this administration, it's important to note that this occurred a year ago under the Obama administration. They are now actually able to finally fire and get rid of these people because of a bill that President Trump signed into law called the VA Accountability and Whistleblower Protection Act. I was honored to stand behind the president as he signed into law. This bill greatly shortens the amount of time it takes to fire a VA employee. Instead of sometimes years, it's now going to take weeks. And Secretary Shulkin has said that they are in the process right now of firing this individual. And that is the good news. Things are starting to change at the VA. There's still a lot of work to do. But I think this is a real success story of this administration. We don't hear a lot about it, but I think we do need to hear more because they are starting to do good things at the VA.
Why has it been so difficult? I hear all these things and read comments about it. Well, we're looking forward to working with Congress. This seems like an area where there shouldn't be any red tape in fixing the issues. I mean, these people have gone and laid it down for our country as far as in battle. It's like, and they come home to these situations that aren't even in regular hospitals. Like, and this is supposed to be for them. Like, help me understand why this is still going on.
Well, I think that's a great question. And these are 90-10 issues. 90% of Americans think it should be easier to fire bad VA employees. 90% of Americans, and both veterans and non-veterans alike, think veterans should have the ability to go in the private sector and use their VA benefits if they aren't getting good care at a VA hospital like this veteran was. But here in Washington, D.C., you have a lot of special interests that benefit from the status quo at the VA. Groups like the Federal Employees Union, the American Federation for Government Employees, that just want more money going in the VA system so they can get more employees and more due-paying members. They have a vested interest in preserving the status quo, and they spend a lot of money on elections. They support a lot of politicians, mainly Democrats, but even some Republicans, and they go to them and say, you have to block VA reforms. You have to keep the status quo to protect our members.
Briefly, we don't have much time. The next step is giving veterans a choice, as you alluded to. There's been some improvement there, but where is Congress on getting a real bill passed so that a veteran can take their money and go to the private sector if they're not being served by the VA?
They're working on bills right now. They have a couple drafts. There's some positive reforms. They still got to make some improvements, but they need to give vets real choice, not fake choice, and allow them to choose their doctor because they chose to serve their country, and that's what they deserve.
Because fake choice is when you still have to ask a VA bureaucrat permission to go to the outside as opposed to making that choice yourself if you're a veteran.
That's absolutely the best way to sum it up. The veteran should have the choice, not the VA bureaucrat.
Dan Caldwell, thanks a lot. We appreciate your time.